For more on this, we'll go tonight to former First Minister of Scotland from the year 2007 to 2014, Alex Salmond, who also has a show here on RT International, RT America. Great to have you with us.
Oh, fantastic to be here, Ed.
Americans are curious how this story is playing out in the UK. Is the public satisfied with what they're hearing about Russia being the culprit, and there's been enough evidence presented?
Well, I mean, look, when you get a Russian spy, British double agent, and his daughter subject to a chemical attack in a sleepy English city, then the name in the frame is going to be Russia. The leading suspect is going to be Russia. But of course, what's happened now is that the British government have transferred it from being highly likely it was Russia to a slam dunk it was Putin and his government. And the trouble for them is they haven't been able to back that up with real evidence. And you know, the Foreign Secretary has gone haywire, basically. He's lied on German television. He's had to take a Foreign Office tweet down. And the claims, the over-claims that the British government have made are their problem. Now, how much that's affected public opinion in the UK as yet, probably not that much, but there's a growing suspicion, as you heard from the Labour Party representative, that the UK government have gone from highly likely it was Russia to certain it was Putin, and haven't had the evidence to back up that claim.
In the meantime, there have been sanctions placed without proper evidence. I mean, and there's also been expulsions of diplomats.
Well, let's see. I mean, I would have said that the Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, initially asked a series of questions at the Prime Minister, and the government would have been better to be able to answer these questions before you start upping the escalation of the diplomatic war. But of course, they had a very reasonable case for suspicion. I mean, he was a Russian spy, a British double agent. Russia was clearly going to be seen as the main suspect. But the lesson of the last few days, and particularly this unravelling of the Foreign Secretary's claims, would tell you that it's best to get the hard evidence before you start building the international alliance. And, you know, at The Hague, for example, in the Chemical Weapons Organisation, it was, 6 votes for Russia, 17 votes for the UK position, or 15 votes, I think it was, and then 17 abstentions, which would tell you that some countries aren't that sure, because the hard evidence that they were expecting has not as yet been produced.
Alex, what brings you to the States?
Well, this is Scotland weekend, and particularly the 6th of April was the date in 1320 of the sealing of the Declaration of Arbroath, which many people believe was the forerunner for America's Declaration of Independence some hundreds of years later, because it was the first ever document that said the people are sovereign, not kings, the people are sovereign.
Very strong roots here in America from Scotland, no doubt about it. As First Minister, you had some interactions and a friendship with Donald Trump. Tell us.
Well, I had a sort of upper and downer. I had some years where Donald described me as the greatest politician on the planet. And then I had a period, more recently, where I was Mad Alec trying to destroy Scotland.
So he nicknamed you too?
Well, we fell out because I wouldn't move a wind demonstrator away from his golf course, and that became a major bone of contention. But we had some years where we saw eye to eye, and we've had more recent times where we haven't been speaking at all.
How do you think he's being viewed in the UK? Is he viewed as dangerous? Is he viewed as stable?
I mean, he's not popular in the UK.
He's not popular?
No. I mean, because some of his comments, particularly some comments would be interpreted as sexist, objectionable. Some of his attitudes have caused a lot of hurt. I mean, it caused a lot of hurt in America as well as a lot of hurt in the UK. There is some considerable worry about some of his international stances as well. I mean, it should be said he's not always wrong. I mean, people internationally shouldn't disagree with an American president that said it would be better to have good relations with Russia than bad relations. On the other hand, his stance on Iran looks like it's one that might cause real problems for us. So I think people are worried about the erratic nature of this presidency and find some of his stances objectionable. But you shouldn't get yourself into the mentality, and even all the things he said about me and I've said about him, you shouldn't get into the mentality that someone's always wrong. And I suspect we'll find that this president isn't always wrong.
Alex Salmond, great to have you with us.
Before I go, this is a quake. I brought it for you. Scots Gaelic for a loving cup.
Well, I appreciate that.
You know,
I love your golf courses. I've played King's Barnes. It's fabulous.
Well, what you do is you put the whiskey in the quaich.
I could do that.
No vodka, just whiskey, and just the real stuff, Scots, not that Irish stuff. And then you pass it round your friends, and only your close friends, Ed.
Okay. Alex, thank you so much.
Great pleasure to be
What a
here.
pleasure. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much.